go! Turn it up, let's go! Welcome to Dog Pro Radio! Welcome to Dog Pro Radio!
Are you overwhelmed trying to run your dog training business and market for it at the same time? Let's be honest, scaling isn't an option anymore. If you're not using Meta and Google Ads to market for your business, you have already fallen behind. And this year, it's gonna hurt more than it ever has before. Here at Unleashed Consulting, we create proven Meta and Google Ads campaigns that will help grow your business and get more clients in the door. Every day that you wait is a day that your competition is taking action. And more importantly, taking leads from your business. So if you're ready to scale, visit unleashedconsulting.com to claim your exclusive free month of marketing just for IACP members.
Welcome to Dog Pro Radio. What's going on, guys?
A lot. Yeah, a lot going on.
It was like a deer in the headlights for a second there. Nothing.
Woo. It's been a week, man. I'm supposed to have dogs coming in next week. I'm trying to find a customs broker in our nation's capital of all places, and that is like, you would think that would be like the easiest place and the easiest thing to do. It is not. It absolutely is not. It's a struggle, but we're working on it.
Cool. Yeah, I was a little worried that Matt's going to ask the question of how are we doing and what's everyone up to. I feel like there's always so much. And yeah, just trying to make headway on the projects that we have, right? It's like at the beginning of the year, you like make a list of all the things you're doing. But it's like IACP stuff, IACP projects, individual projects for the business. And then it's like, if you don't like make it a point to just go down the list and itemize it and do it, it just, sits around for another quarter or another month or another year. So that's kind of been like, my thing is like, I have to get going with some of the things on the list. So, back half of the year has been wide open so far. So I'm excited to just get to work. I'm also in the middle of like selling my house and like buying a property. So it's just a mess, So I was happy to catch up with you guys though. I feel like I haven't spoken to you guys in a couple of weeks. I mean, we sent messages here and there and more board official stuff, but it's always nice to catch up in person or virtually and get to hear everyone's very nice voice through a screen.
I'm excited to see your place in a couple weeks, Fabian. Or maybe it's more than that. I don't know. It's coming up soon, right?
Yeah, it's like in 2 weeks. You'll be coming by. We have like a French ring workshop that weekend, or it's supposed to be French ring decoy handler, like entry level for it, whether it's a competitor or a handler. But it's turning into be a bunch of different dog sports stuff, which is kind of cool. And it's also that crowd, loves to hang out and have a good time. So if you are interested in having a good time and you're going to stick around, hang out afterwards. But yeah, you're going to be in town, right? What do you say you're doing something out here with the rescue?
Yeah, the West Suburban Humane Society. They're in Downers Grove, west of Chicago. I've done work with them for absolutely forever, it feels like, since probably 2006, 2008, somewhere in that time frame. So we sponsor their event. They have a big event every year this time of year called Barkapalooza. We always sponsor it. A lot of times I just can't make it up there, but this year I can, which I'm excited to do. So we'll have a booth and be able to see a lot of people I don't get to see all that often, see a lot of dogs and support them because like a lot of humane societies, they rescue out a ton of dogs and they do a phenomenal job. And, we all know there's all kinds of rescues out there, right? That some are better than others. And they're, to me, pretty high in the list. If they do a great job adopting, they're easy to deal with. They take good care of the animals. They don't lie to people about what kind of dog you're getting.
That's a big one. That's a big one.
For sure.
Don't lie to people.
Must be a Chicago thing.
Yeah.
It must be. There's some where every dog they have is a lab mix. And you're like, this lab mix is like 18 inches tall. His chest, he's got like a 60-inch chest with cropped ears, and he's a lab mix?
Or a shepherd mix. You get a lot of shepherd mixes.
Yes. So they don't do that, which is nice. They're a great group to deal with.
Cool. So you come up here often or no?
Not as often as I would like. I probably get up there 4 times a year or something like that.
Okay, that's not at all. Jason, when are you coming to Chicago?
You should come that weekend, Jason. It's gonna be fun.
Yeah, if you
I can roam the streets of Chicago.
It's not that bad.
People and his dogs. Apparently that's his pastime now.
Yeah, just my dogs. Chicago is not that bad. I mean, I think it's great. I mean, there's a lot of headlines, but there's also millions of people in a bunch of different neighborhoods, and we should, when we run a regional gathering here, you should come out for the weekend or just something. Uh, check out the place and look at kind of where the ICP is located and all the cool stuff. I'd love to have you guys both out here. So
And
yeah.
Jason, Chicago's not that bad. As long as you have a Malinois with you and a gun, like you're gonna be fine. It's not a big deal.
Yeah.
No one
Yeah.
ever bothers me. Like, no one ever comes up and says hi to me. No one asks to pet my dogs. No one ever talks to me. So when everyone's like, I can't keep people's hands off my dogs, they just keep wanting to pet them. I'm like, I don't have that problem. Like no one no one ever offers that to me.
Get you some French bulldogs and a couple golden doodles, and you can change that whole thing up.
Yeah.
Yep.
There we go.
Shifting gears a little bit, why don't we get into conference recap? You guys were the heavy lifters of this year's conference, I feel like. Any big thoughts from your end?
Yeah, I did. I think I did 37,000 steps in a day, one day. It was. I don't think I've ever done that many steps in a day before. So it was definitely busy on our end for sure. It's our end, the board. But I think overall it was definitely one that we can put in the W column. I really do. Most of the feedback we've gotten from that, and we've gotten quite a bit. I appreciate everybody sending those in because it gives us a lot of information. But overall, people were pretty happy with Savannah, even though it was end of July and it was hot, and the vendor hall almost flooded. We were gonna have to hand out life jackets in the vendor hall there for a minute,
I was
but
just a little water. It wasn't anything crazy.
crisis averted there. But I've never seen that much rain come at one time. But yeah, it was a busy 5 days, 6. How many days was it? 6. It was a lot. But I think overall, people enjoyed themselves. I think people learned a lot. We had a pretty cool lineup of speakers. But as y'all know, it takes a ton to put that thing on, and I think it takes a lot more than most people imagine. A lot of people in the feedback forums talked about what a good job the board and all of the other volunteers and all the other people did, and insinuated that we had a crew, like event planning crew, helping us put it together. We in fact did not. It was us. So it's a lot of work.
It is a lot of work. Well, we had us, and then we had Fabian's team. So that was pretty helpful that Fabian shows up with a small army.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. We actually did that last year because we were so close to conference date that we knew we had a bunch of things to set up and audio video. And a lot of the stuff is just cost cutting, right? Whatever we can do to save the organization some dollars, I think that we're definitely going to do that. And then that kind of became the habit this year too, which was like, oh, let's just do it again, just because conference takes a whole year to plan. Last year we booked it within 9 months, right? I think it was September, and then conference was in September, because I'm getting the memories on social media now of all the stuff that we were doing at that time. And then a couple months later, we have 2025 conference, right? So this is the first time heading into California that it is a year's worth of planning. And it really takes that much time, between some of the stuff we're working on now and logistics on that day. But yeah, conference was a big hit. I really enjoyed pretty much everyone that attended. I enjoyed the vibes. I think it all came together for me when it was time for gala, and you had the big like you walk in and it's a big dome, and it's like just tons of people in there. Everyone's having a good time. That's when I felt like, okay, this is officially a successful conference, right? So I was pretty excited about all of that stuff. And just, there's just a lot of work getting stuff there and bringing stuff back. I didn't count my steps, but I'm sure there's a lot of we were definitely exhausted at the end of everything. And as much as it is like bringing like a small army, to me, it is a bit of like team development, right? Like having to be part of some of those events really helps people build a I don't know, like a understanding of the industry, right? Like a deeper understanding of the industry, like getting to meet with all the other canine professionals. So that's really, one of the reasons I did that, and helps everybody out.
Speaking of being exhausted, there were people in the lobby playing this game until like 5 in the morning or something. What was it? Anybody remember the name of that thing?
No.
No,
Portal.
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 Yeah, it was like a
Yeah.
clicker shaping game, right? It was like a
Yeah,
shape.
it was a behavior shaping game, and man, apparently that thing's addictive.
Yeah.
So, we gotta bring that back next year. There were like zombies in the lobby playing that game till late, late, late. It was
Yeah,
wild. I'd never seen it before, but apparently it's pretty popular.
I know. If there's one thing that I do miss from some of the previous conferences is how much of how much involved you or how much fun you can have attending a conference, right? Because a lot of times you're like, "Oh my god, they're having such a great time," and then you have a bunch of boxes on your arms, and you're like, "Oh, but I can't stop and do this because we're gonna be here forever. If we stop now." So I kind of miss that, but I don't know. I'm a bit of a workaholic, right? So I love working and being exhausted after a long day and feeling like I was able to make a contribution as an individual. And so one day when we're no longer doing these like long conferences, I'm also going to miss that, right? That sense of accomplishment from pulling that kind of stuff off. But I guess I did have a question for Jason. Jason, what do you think was the hardest thing for you to organize that conference? Because you do a lot of planning. Like what you do, I mean, you're doing a lot of planning now, and so does everybody else on the board. But I mean, you bring together a lot of things. What do you think is the most challenging thing that people should be aware about as we like head into future conferences?
Oh god. Hardest thing. That's a tough question because there's just so much that I think people don't understand it, and I say that because I didn't have a clue. As you remember, last year was my first conference. I wasn't president very long, and then we had a conference, but I had an opportunity to see things a little different this year, and I mean, it's just so much that goes into that, from logistics to food and beverage to how many rooms you get booked, what space you're putting presenters in, setting up vendor. I mean, it's just the hardest thing. The hardest thing for me was really just trying to wrap my head around all of it, because it's the other thing that I found out about doing these conferences is how fluid the whole thing is, and how everything shifts and changes. Because everything's laid out and you're good to go, and then the next minute, six people canceled their room, and now all of a sudden everything down the line changes.
Yeah.
I mean, I had no clue. I learned this year, but yeah, just trying to understand all the moving parts, I think, is the hardest.
Yeah, I would say too, like adding to what you said, meeting the financial obligation to the hotel is probably the most nerve wracking and the hardest part to all that. Very transparent, because that's where like you got to make sure you have the right amount of vendors, the right amount of attendees. You got to meet your commitment, and we ultimately become responsible for any of that, right? Like whenever people don't show up, or they show up, and they cancel the rooms, and things change, like you said, like it just changes. It could bump you out of a tier of something that you're currently in. So that's something I learned a lot about conference as well, is more or less getting people to like, I guess making sure the financial obligations met. But then when you guys took on the vendor spots, because Matt, you and Jason worked on rallying all the vendors last year, and I probably now moving forward as well, you're still doing it. And I would say getting people to commit to that's also plays a big part of it. So getting people to say yes and making it a financial commitment for them, because it is an investment for those companies too. I think all that challenging. So you know, back to the subject of trauma and trauma bonding. That's a good example right there.
Selling tickets too. I mean, yeah. I mean, how do you market it? How do where are you at on ticket sales? Can you meet those KPIs for it? And I set a goal of having 50% more ticket sales for 2025 over 2024, which was pretty lofty. Um, happy to say we met that goal. Thank you, Zach George, for bringing awareness to our organization on social media. I think that might have put us over the top, but yeah, we had ticket sales. I think we were right around 305 or something. Previous year, we're right around 200. So, and then Fabian's got what, 600? Is that on your list for next year? Is that what you said? 600,
Yeah,
700?
something about California just told me we're gonna have a big turnout. I mean, it's first of all, it's people like California. I mean, I'm speaking from my personal perspective, right? I like California. There's a big dog training community. At least that's what it seems that way. Out there, dog shows out there. It's in a good location, and people like having a beach time as well. So, hopefully it turns out. But we're pretty good at meeting and checking those things off. I mean, just earlier this year, we made a list of all the things that need to be done for the ICP, and here we are, 9 months in, and feel like we've accomplished a lot. The podcast being one of them, right? How many episodes are you guys in now?
This is 20.
Nice round number.
Yep. Hard to believe this is 20.
So you guys have gotten pretty good at it.
No,
Well,
absolutely
Hey,
not.
hey, we're better. We're better than we were. So I feel like that's a good segue to just why we even started this podcast in the first place, right? We were at the board retreat, and what month was that? Like February?
And very end of February in Savannah, yeah.
And Jason, you had pitched this, and I feel like, at least from my standpoint, the two reasons that we're running this show, one is education. I mean, what awesome education for our members, but it's also free for anyone to listen to, which is pretty cool. But on top of that, just to also build awareness for the IACP. Although we have a ton of really good members and a lot of trainers out there are IACP members, not all trainers are. And for people to hear the show, to understand who we're all about, and to hopefully join, that's, for all you listeners, that's one of the big reasons we're running this. It's not just education and sharing this with others, sharing it with your friends, sharing it with your trainer friends, especially getting the IACP name out there. And with Jason and Robert's +1 campaign, maybe you want to talk about that. There's incentives for people to help grow the membership, but just keep in mind we're doing it. The bigger the organization is, the more clout we have, and that's really important with what we're looking to do to protect the industry.
Yep, definitely need to get those numbers up. We did. We announced it at conference, the +1 campaign. We had talked about doing a membership campaign at the board retreat in February when we came up with the idea of the podcast, but also was talking to Robert on his podcast, and he brought up the idea that if, just everybody who's currently a member brings on one person, we get to double our numbers. So kind of played on that whole +1, bring one person with you. And we did start our +1 campaign. It's live. It's on our website. We started it August 1st, so we're 1 month into it. We've seen some success from it. So
it's cool.
Got to update the leaderboard, and I think we got a social post going out real soon. But yeah, we're going to run that for 12 months. There are some perks all the way up to getting a free ticket to conference next year if you bring enough folks along. So we're excited about it, and hopefully that'll catch on and create a little awareness about it and get people signing folks up. It's not like Mary Kay or Avon or one of those. They just put your number in. That's all. When they sign up, they put your member number in. You get credit for it. You don't have to host a party at your house on Saturday. You don't have to sell anything.
Wait, you don't have to do that?
No.
This isn't a Tupperware party?
No, none of that.
Who's the leader right now? Do we have a known leader?
We do. Give me a second. I'll find it. Hang on. Gwen just shot it over to me the other day.
Wait, so if someone wants to throw a party and then just convince a bunch of people to sign up, that's like they can essentially get on the leaderboard.
Yeah.
Yep, absolutely. That's it.
You're going to see Highland up there pretty quickly. And, after this regional gathering, I get a bunch of local people up. Jason's handing out his number.
That's going to be our party. October 18th, come see us. We're here in North Carolina.
What do you guys got lined up for that day?
All kinds of stuff. Mag's going to be talking about how we started our shelter program here. I think we're going to have some folks from the shelter here as well to talk about their perspective of that program. We got the pool still open. It'll still be open in October. So if you want to bring your dog out, do some dock diving. I don't care if you've never had your dog in a pool before. If you're a world competitor, doesn't matter. Come on, hit the dock. That's going to be open. We're going to have a cookout, let people hang out, may have some demos as well. So yeah, hopefully we're going to have a good time. So RSVP, it's free, RSVP on the website, and come see us in Harmony. Oh, Ashley Carrick,
How many people?
top of the leaderboard. I do not have the stats, but she is at the top of the leaderboard.
Hey, can you guys hear this if I do this? Let's see.
Yeah.
Yep.
I think
Ashley Carrick, keep it up. Keep bringing them. You might get a pink
That's
Cadillac.
awesome.
No, that's Mary Kirkland. That's something different. Yeah. You might get a
Well,
free
do we
conference
wanna-
ticket for next year.
Do we want to shift into kind of some recaps of the show and some of the stuff we've done and covered?
Yeah. Dude, it seems like we just started this like a couple weeks ago, and at the same time, it's like we've been doing this for years.
Mm. I mean, you guys had a lot of practice. I mean, 20 episodes, that's like 20 some, not more than 20 some hours. You guys have had some long podcasts,
Yeah.
you know, in this. And I figured you got to have quite a bit of practice. And plus, you started this in March. It wasn't even like, what was it? The first episode, was that the second time? That was the second week after we got back for conference, or was it the same week? It was like we got back.
No,
It was
We got back
it
from
was
regional
quick.
gathering, and then right away there was an episode, and then it was like producing the episode, and then there's another one, and then there's another one, which was yeah. So I mean, hey, that's a lot of. I'm surprised there isn't more. You know, that's great. Who's you guys have favorite episodes?
Want to turn your passion for dogs into a professional career? At the School for Dog Trainers at Highland Canine Training, we offer expert-led, in-depth courses that fully prepare you for a successful career in the dog training industry. Offering 3 campus locations, our licensed programs provide you with the perfect balance of academic instruction and real-world hands-on training. Over the past 2 decades, we have hosted graduates from over 45 countries across the globe. Join thousands of graduates making a difference, one dog at a time. Visit internationaldogtrainerschool.com and unleash your future today.
That's a tough call. Jason, you want to go or you want me to?
Yeah, I do. I'll be honest with you, man. I tell people all the time, just from us sitting and doing these podcasts, I have learned so much stuff. I mean, I just sitting here interviewing people and getting the opportunity to ask those questions. I've learned so much stuff. Yeah, I mean, I've got quite a few who sit at the top of the list, but my favorite probably was the one with Robert. There was a lot that came away from that particular episode, but yeah, that was probably my number one of the 19 so far.
You know, I think no question Robert's episode and then Larry's as well were really fun conversations that I mean, I've enjoyed all of them. One I really liked though, because I know so little about it, was Athena House, where for me it was just such a learning experience because I don't know anything about search and rescue. So getting the chance to learn was pretty cool versus, you know, talking to people you really enjoy that you respect as a trainer, but sometimes it's also just kind of hanging out, talking and letting them tell their story. So I thought it was really cool to learn about something that I know next to nothing about.
Mm-hmm.
What about you, Mr. Fabian?
I would say Melody Uday. I think she was one that I was very excited about. I had seen her on social media for quite some time, you know, and I began following her work. So I was very excited to get on the podcast and ask her some questions that, you know, I had some curiosities myself in terms of, you know, say aggression and neutering or keeping animals intact. Because there's a lot of hearsay, right? There's a lot of hearsay between trainers, and especially in the working dog world or the sport dog world, and then into pet dogs, and everyone's got their specific, you know, their version of the explanation. But getting it from Melanie Uday was, I think, a super awesome part. You know, I really enjoyed that conversation. Another episode, I mean, the one we did with Pat, that one, I enjoyed a lot. I did feel like I complained a little too much. I was a little worried when we were done filming it. And I was like, here I am complaining about, I'm so mad about Zach George and why are we not doing this? And what do we think? Dude, I get so, I turn into a broken record pretty easily with that. So.
Yeah,
Is there-
Dr. Uda's almost turned into its own little mini series there. That's the only one we've done 2 episodes, right? 2 back-to-backs. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's like we walked away from that with way more questions than we had answers. So it's like, let's do this one again.
Those were good episodes for sure.
Yeah.
Well, let's test everyone's Dog Pro Radio knowledge.
Oh,
So
God.
what is your guess on the most downloaded episode? I pulled the stats from Spotify.
Most downloads. Man, that's a toss-up. I'm thinking it's going to be between 3.
Jason's going to name 9 episodes. He's like, I think it's one of these.
Nah, I'm gonna give you one, but I'm pretty sure it came down. I think I know the top 3. I'm gonna say most downloaded is probably Robert. Fabian.
J Jack.
It was J Jack by a pretty wide margin, followed
Wow.
by
Wow.
number. What's your guess for number 2?
I'm gonna say Larry or Robert, one of those 2. Those were my top 3.
I'm gonna go with Melanie Uday or Pat Stewart.
Got to choose one.
Dr. Uday.
Oh, you
Yeah.
chose wrong. It was Pat.
Oh, really? Oh, man. Okay. All right. Good. That was pretty good. I'm a pretty good guess here. I'm a pretty good guess.
You are.
Who's number 3?
Let's see.
Jason, aren't you the stats guy? Aren't you like that's what you
Dude,
do?
I'm not.
We always,
Uh,
always get the reports from you.
I've not
number
looked at
3
that in
was-
forever.
was Tyler.
Moto. Okay,
Yeah.
cool. That was a cool episode. If you're
Mhm.
if you're interested in upping your game with your business, man, that's definitely one to listen to. For
And
sure.
then after those 3, there were a ton that were grouped pretty tightly.
Yeah. Now you have to say that, Matt. You started this game. Now you have to say that.
Well, let's play
least
another
amount of
guess.
downloads. Let's do least amount of downloads. That's gonna be the very first one with the 3 of us did. And it's gonna probably go with this one right here. It's gonna be neck and neck with this one.
Oh, yeah. Let's change the question before we get into some trouble.
How about longest episode?
Ooh. I'm just going off of like just vibes, okay? Social media vibes and what I've seen, because I've not tuned into all the episodes, but I can take a wild guess. You want to go first, Jason?
No, I don't. Go ahead. Longest in time.
And
Longest
it did not feel like a long episode filming it. I remember this one well, and it did not feel even, at least to me, at all like it drug out or went too long.
It was one of the earlier ones, right? Not a later one.
I can't give you any
Come on.
clues.
All right, I'm gonna take my guess. Larry Crum. Oh, you can't now. We gotta wait on Jason here.
Practicing my poker face.
I'm going with Cindy Doing.
Cindy was close, but it was Mark Goldberg.
Oh, really? Okay, cool.
Yep.
Cool. Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah. All right, last game. How about the shortest episode?
That was the first one we did.
Yeah, I think the first one we did.
Okay, we can't count that one. We can't
Okay.
count the intro. Shortest with a guest.
Shortest with a guest will be
Antonio Diaz. I'm just kidding. We're just
Athena.
Shortest one. I'm trying to think who's like a pretty straight to the point person. I mean, Tyler's pretty, he's a pretty calculated, straight to the point person. I'm going to go with Dr. Uday again?
Part 1 or 2?
Oh, it was
Part
part
one.
one. Yep.
Yes. Dr. Part 1.
Yes, I got it right. That's
Yes.
awesome.
Now, I was going to give you some shit for taking 45 seconds to answer it, but when you get it right, I guess you deserve that much time to think if you're going to.
But that's not fair, dude. That's not fair at all, because I remember that episode now. It's coming back to me because I was sitting over here with this like long list of questions I want to ask him. Fabian's like, well, that's a wrap, guys. We've enjoyed it. That's why we had to do part 2.
Fabian had plans that day.
I don't know. I don't know what's an acceptable length for a podcast anymore. I mean, I've seen
Nobody
some,
knows.
like 3 hours long. I'm like, that's a good multiple day listen.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not one to sit there and remember everything if I listen all in one shot. So, yeah, no, that's good. That's good.
We've had some long ones, and I don't think, Matt, correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think we've had some pretty long ones, and I don't think we've ever had to stop for somebody to take a bio break.
We never have.
So that is success right there.
Mm-hmm. I'll tell you what, for our business, we do pretty long interviews with trainers, and we used to never ask them, like, I just assume if someone has to go to the bathroom, they're going to say, hey, can I go to the restroom? And a lot of people in an interview, it turns out, won't say that if no one else goes. So now we have to tell people, like, hey, if you need to go to the bathroom, because we do a 4-hour interview in person, just tell us and just go to the bathroom. But we learned the hard way where, like, someone would finally be like, they're like fidgety, and you're like, are you okay? They're like, I really have to go to the bathroom.
Yeah, 4 hours.
So-
Is it like a podcast interview, or is it like
No. I meant like an interview for like a new trainer we're
Oh,
hiring.
got it.
So there's dog handling, there's questions, there's all kinds of stuff. But
Yeah.
so maybe we need to start telling guests on this show, if you need to go to the bathroom, you
God,
can do it.
4-hour employee interview?
Yeah.
Do they get to punch in for that?
No.
I would be looking to punch in.
Yeah, it's like
We did not run into people run into the bathroom, but we did run into some other goofy stuff. I remember Cindy climbing around their living room, closing curtains, trying to prep the place prior to.
Cindy's a badass. She was like climbing around on the kitchen counter. She's like, should I fix this lighting? Yeah, I should fix the lighting. She's climbing on the counter, like tacking stuff up to cover the windows. That's pretty awesome.
Yep.
Only Cindy. How about Fabian? How about Pat Stewart? I don't think we can repeat a lot of it, but holy smokes, the stuff we talked about after that episode ended, when we cut the camera and just chatted, there was.
Remember that podcast where we didn't tape anything we said? It was
Dude,
so cool.
If we could air the stuff we talked about after we stopped recording, that would be our most popular episode times 1,000. Now we'd probably get sued by a few individuals.
Yeah. No.
Do you remember that conversation, Fabian?
I do remember the conversation. It was a long one. It was a long conversation. Maybe not the podcast, but it was a very long conversation about, I mean, a lot of it about values and dog training and, where we go with the industry. And I feel like I always find myself getting people really deep in the weeds with that, and like asking the questions about what they think is going to happen with legislation and what they, what kind of trouble is that going to cause and all that, and being more proactive with that kind of stuff. That's always something that comes up, and with Pat specifically, because anytime I've ever run into him, it just gets straight into those topics, and then dog business, which is like a whole nother thing. So but yeah, that was a really good podcast. Jason, why weren't you in that one? What were you doing? You were in somewhere different country?
India.
You were in India. You were teaching there.
Yeah, I was in India. Yep.
Well-
And that one came up, and I'm like, look, I'm in India, but y'all go ahead, knock it out.
All I'm going to say is if you think Pat's opinionated on air, you should hear the stuff he says off air.
The difference is, Fabian, is when I got back from India, I actually listened to that episode.
Oh, dude, I said someone needs to listen to this. Like I remember calling Matt. I was like, can Jason listen to this and just make sure that he's gonna be, what was gonna be okay with what was said? I didn't even listen to that episode. I was like, nah, I think whatever the public decides to do with him, I'm good with. And if they've somehow managed to publish this and it wasn't a wash, they would all be on the same page, right? So I was happy to see, and I also don't know how much of what I said was cut out. Um,
How much?
so not
I
much.
don't think we cut anything. It was the
I think we should've cut some stuff.
everything we talked about, I feel like was maybe borderline controversial. I think
Yeah,
the stronger opinions came out in our debrief session, and a lot of that would have had to been cut because,
yeah,
like I said, I think there would have been some lawsuits involved.
yeah, yes. It's coming back to me now. It's like, oh,
Is it?
yeah, for sure lawsuits. Yeah. No,
What else? Any other memorable moments? Anything you could think of, Jason?
Just navigating these things sometimes can be seems like it can get tricky at times. But I think we've done okay with it.
Yeah, dog trainers are crazy. That's a good point. I mean, we've had how many people call in while they're driving? We've had people from a camper on the road. They're like in the middle of nowhere filming from their camper. But we've had multiple in a car driving, and we're like, hey,
Yeah,
maybe you should pull over or let's
or
reschedule.
or we got to reschedule this, yeah, because we're gonna get smoked if we put this out with you driving down I-20 somewhere. Yeah. Let's just do this a different time. Now seems really bad. So
I
yeah,
think that the most interesting part is watching people from very much different backgrounds from all over the country, and in some cases, different countries, just kind of come together and just jump on something and talk about dogs, right? And talk about the profession. I think that's probably been the most interesting thing for me. Is just like, man, you have like different speakers getting on here and just having conversation. And you also don't know what you're gonna get, right? Because you're getting to know the speakers as you're talking to them. So you're talking, you're having a solid conversation. You may ask something that, you're like, oh, this is a little testy. And I feel like that's why I excuse myself sometimes from the podcast. Like I don't really want to ask these questions out in public. Um, that's one of them. Pat's a good example. That episode's a good example. And I think when I was talking to one of the PSA judges, Clay Smith, couple weeks ago. I was out with the judges' dinner, and you sit down and you start talking, and he was a super cool dude. I think he'd be worth getting on a podcast and talking about dog sport and all these different things. Really calculated judge in terms of like scenarios and things. He's got a law enforcement background. He's been in dogs for a very long time. But then when I started talking to him, I had no idea, what you're gonna, what's gonna come up in conversation, whether they agree on some of the topics and they don't. And I think that's what sometimes comes up in podcasts, right? You want to keep it interesting and PC, but you also want to get to know the other people you're talking to, and see how they feel. And have you guys had any situations that got a little like odd or like, none you have to mention, but something that was like, I don't really know how to answer that, or feels uncomfortable to have that conversation.
I can't think of any, but we might have a couple of those in the works.
yes, we very well may. We were just talking about that before we started. Yeah, that may be coming.
Yeah.
That may be. Yeah, there's a lot of folks I want to talk to. I want to talk to some. I want to talk to some folks that a lot of people know, but I think it'd be cool to bring some folks on from different parts of the world. I've
Yeah.
had the opportunity to travel a bit. I've been fortunate enough to do that with my business and see, how things are done culturally different with dogs and how things operate a little different in different parts of the world. And I think it would be cool to have folks from different parts of the world come on and talk about that a little bit.
That'd be
Um,
awesome.
don't know if our listeners want to hear it. If you do, let us know. If you don't, let us know. But yeah, I think it might be interesting for sure.
The cultural differences would be super interesting, and then so would just someone coming from a place where tools have been banned and talking
Yeah.
about what has that done. I've heard some crazy stuff come out of some countries with how wild. We've got a client that moved to Australia not too long ago, and some of the stuff I've heard from I don't know what part of Australia, but where a lot of the tools are limited, and a lot of really crazy dogs. A lot of crazy dogs that can't be controlled.
Yep.
Yeah, everyone you talk to in different countries. I was talking to a couple guys from Peru and then in Mexico, and there's always some legislation trying to be passed that is limiting trainers or is trying to ban tools, et cetera, pretty much all over the world. It's like an ongoing battle, right? So I'm hoping this podcast helps bring kind of that awareness to people. And most of the time, the people that benefit from tools the most also aren't really aware in different countries, right? Like just like the clients and other dog trainers, they don't know that some of this stuff's happening. So
Hmm. Well, to reiterate what Jason said, I mean, this show is obviously made for the listeners, for our members, and then any other listener as well, but mainly the members, I'd say. Tell us who you want on here. And, that's our job, is to get those people on. So we will talk to literally anybody, absolutely anybody we can have a conversation with. So anyone you'd like to see on here will tell us, drop a comment, and we'll do our best to get them on.
Yeah, we've got our list we're working from, but it's very flexible. So let us know. We'll get them. We'll do what we can to get them on. All they can say is no.
Mm-hmm. It'd be fun would be to do an in-person episode. I mean, think how much better it would be to be in the same room doing in-person versus through a screen.
I got a place right here in North Carolina.
Let's do it.
Let's make it happen.
How
I cl-
busy are you the time when the regional gathering's going on? Is that
Oh, well, we can fit something in. Definitely fit something in.
that could be cool.
And we could do one in Chicago in December when Fabian has his regional gathering now.
yeah, you could do it.
Oh, dude, Chicago in December is beautiful. It's a great time of year.
It's about that's as good as it gets. And then
It's
just
cold, it's windy, it's gray. You're gonna love it, Jason.
December's great, dude. It's January and February that's rough, I think Pat came here. He was here in February. Well, the first time he was ever here before COVID. And he saw snow for the first time here, I think. Or something. He went outside and started looking at it. He's like, "Oh, it's snowing."
It's
Yeah,
crazy.
I don't think I get a lot in Australia.
It's probably not. When I went to law school in downtown Chicago, and when I was it was the first year of the polar vortex, so like 2012, I want to say.
2011, 2012.
And there were a few guys that went to school there that were from California and had never spent time anywhere all that cold.
Oh my
and
God.
they didn't leave their house for days. They were like, "This is insane." Because you remember that time? It was like -20, -30 real temp. And then the wind chill was on top of that. It was absolutely bonkers.
Was that giant snowstorm? The one that like people left
No,
Lakeshore Drive and everything?
that was 2010, and that was pretty wild, the snowstorm. This was just cold.
Yeah, now it happens every year. First week of February, guaranteed. Guaranteed first week of February. It's gotta be the coldest one, -20, -30. It's the sensation of it, the real feel is sometimes into the 50s as it was last year. You just get used to it. I mean, like I had to return some lumber I think last year. And I was like, I mean, just how long do I have between now and I get frostbite? And it's like 2 minutes. I could load this lumber in 2 minutes up to Home Depot. Yeah, you can't let it stop you, man. You're gonna be inside the house for 4 weeks.
Your blood thins. You really do. You build up and you acclimate to it. But I always said, like, when I left the Chicago area, I'm like, "Oh, I've been in the cold for so long, I'll be fine." And I went back like 2 years later. We were selling a business, a building we had,
Mm.
and my partner and I were like unloading stuff like out of a huge pole barn and into trucks. And I was shivering so bad. I just I couldn't stop. It was, and he's like, "What's wrong with you?" Like, I guess I just can't handle Chicago in the winter anymore.
Wow. Do you miss it? Do you miss being out here?
I don't. I miss some of the food.
Yeah.
I miss
You don't.
the pizza
Yeah,
for
pizza's
sure.
pizza's good.
Yeah.
Uh,
Italian
I'm
beefs.
yeah, I'm tired of it too, actually. I'm kind of tired of it. That's why I'm moving. I'm moving. It's just the hustle and bustle. It's like at some point it's like cool, you get used to it, but then it's like not as fun anymore. Maybe as you get older, I am getting older. It's like, oh, time to get out of here. But I love the city, dude. I love it. I mean, I know people hate Chirac the way they call it, but it's when you fly into it and you see the skyline and everything, it's just beautiful. I assume you guys feel the same way about the places you live.
Oh yeah, where I'm at, if you're in traffic, you're behind an Amish buggy or a tractor.
Mm.
One of the two. That is the only thing that's going to cause traffic here.
Yeah. So yeah, we should do some live podcasts. Or not live, but in person. But I guess circling back to you, Matt, you did a lot of those interviews. If I mean, you did all the interviews during conference. How did you feel about that setup over there?
In a claims situation, you want to be sure you have the right coverage. Business Insurance of the Carolinas is the preferred IACP insurance provider for your pet training, boarding, and daycare business. Providing coverage in all 50 states, Business Insurance of the Carolinas offers the most affordable general liability rates to IACP members. For more information, visit www.dogtrainerins.com or speak with one of our agents at 800-962-4611.
The setup was nice, so thank you, Fabian, for putting that together. It was, the hardest part was having to break it down and set it up again every single night
Yeah,
so
every
stuff
day.
didn't get stolen. But it was a good setup. It was interesting doing those live interviews with, every speaker had a crowd, but some had, an insane number of people taking pictures of them, while they're doing the live interview. And it was an interesting feel for sure.
Were you all
I'm
nervous?
surprised how well they came out with like the audio and stuff. because
Yeah. The
that was
audio
like
really
8
good.
feet away from the registration table.
And some of them, especially I'm thinking of like when Ivan sat down. I mean, there had to be a couple hundred people watching that and taking pictures and everyone talking, and you hear the audio, and the audio was really, really good.
Mm-hmm. It was those mics. It was Jason's mics. That's why I upgraded to these ones. I went to a conference. I'm like, what are these? These are Rode mics. And I immediately came back and purchased them for this through the year. But Matt, were you at all nervous to be like it was the first time at conference, first time at ICB conference, and then you're charged with kind of like a main stage situation here, interviewing and talking to every single speaker live. So you didn't really get the chance to do any editing. How did you feel about that? I thought I was like, hey, he's either going to be like all for it or he's going to ask for some help.
It was fun, but I'll tell you what, I've spoken to all the speakers before. We had pretty much everybody on Dog Pro Radio, so you already have that rapport, which helps a lot. Rather than like someone talks, you've never even made eye contact with them before. Right now, all of a sudden you're doing a live interview. It'd be a little bit harder, not knowing their personality. I think it helped a lot. It was pretty easy, but had a rapport with a lot of them already.
Yeah,
so it was a lot of fun. Hopefully anyone listening, drop a comment, let us know if you enjoyed that. It was a lot of work for everyone to put together, but if people enjoyed it and thought it was worth it, we'll absolutely do it again next year.
Yeah, that's definitely something that I think should stay part of conference, is doing that whole booth setup. I don't know if you've seen it at different places, Jason, but I got it from that first board retreat we went with the previous board. It was in Texas. I don't know, where did we go? Where did Tracy take us? It was like a bull riding place. It was like a music.
It was
like,
like
the
giant
stockyard?
warehouse. It was a giant warehouse, and there's just all sorts of stuff going on.
was it like Billy Bob's or something?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, you would remember that. But they had this whole podcast set up right there in the middle of everything, and they were just having a conversation with either like artists that just gotten off stage or something like that. I think that's the first time that I set up, and I was like, yeah, we should do that. That's a good thing for conference.
Well, Robert had told me, I forget what he calls it, but using a Rodecaster, like I think you guys both have one, but like a little thumb switch basically to switch the cameras and to be able to have a wide shot and an individual shot of each person, which I really think we should move to next year, because we could have that wider shot where it's both of us, but no one's there to listen to me talk, right? They're there to listen. They're watching for the guest. To be able to then switch the camera to a close-up of them would sure be nice, and not have to have someone manning the camera and pull more people away. So I really think we should switch to that next year, and I can just hit it and switch it over to them. It'd be pretty awesome.
Yeah.
If only we knew somebody who had a video switcher.
Yeah. Jason, you just got one too, no? Did you end up ordering?
Not yet. You
okay.
sent it to me. I got to get it still.
Yeah, you could do a couple of camera switcher.
Well,
this one's a cheap one too.
Robert's he'll be there, so we'll just ask him to bring his.
Yeah, I was like, hey, you're the guy with the idea. You get to do this now.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's awesome. But yeah, that's going to be a staple for what we do. And I think every year we're just going to figure something out that should just be part of conference every single time that we do it. From like this, I mean, that's how the silent auction stuff has been around for a long time. You have the award stuff. You have like the paper plate recall races. Now you have the podcast booth. What is it, Jason? I feel like you mentioned something at the beginning of this episode. What is it that you said you wanted to add to one of these? Was it? I feel like there was something similar to that. I don't know. Maybe I'll come back. But yeah, I'm sure there's this like
Oh,
a
we need to have
the game.
yeah, the portal. We
Yeah.
need to have the
Mm.
portal championship next year.
Yeah. Yeah. That could easily be its own conference. How long they were there. Yeah.
Maybe we could do a dunk tank. Where you
Yep.
throw a
Yeah.
ball.
Put the ICC president on there.
Yeah. Yeah. Jason sitting up there. Boom. Hit that
$100
target.
tickets per ball. 100.
Oh,
Just
I
make sure
do
you
it all day.
make sure you make a lot of people unhappy before they go on sale. A good little promo. Shouldn't be hard for you, huh?
I think you could do it.
Yeah, actually, we don't need to add to that. We can sell out right now.
Seems to be a thing.
Yeah. Some of
Well,
this.
do we want to give a quick update on Conference 2026?
Yeah, we got stuff cooking. Fabian's got some stuff coming our way. We're hoping to have the web page finalized super soon for the conference. Trying to finalize a few last minute things. Marlene and I have been working on finalizing vendor space, so we got that nailed down. Newport Beach, August 18 through 20, I think it is. California next year. It's going to be way different. Fabian's so excited. He's like, it's like Christmas for Fabian because it's a reason to go back to his favorite state, California.
I don't know if it's my favorite state, but it definitely checks off a couple of boxes in terms of weather and outdoor activities. And you know what? If Brittany loves California, so that just makes it easier to go and do a little longer getaways right by San Diego. We go to San Diego every year, so we can make it kind of like a longer trip this time instead of like bringing people down there and then just kind of grinding it out and then flying back with like no fun. This time you can at least have a little bit of fun with that. So I'm excited. We've been working on some of the artwork, so that's in its final stages, which is we got working on that pretty much as soon as we came back, and so we've been working with a designer to make it
Not to
something
spoil
cool.
it, but it's very California-ish.
Yeah. Yeah. I think we're just waiting on some of the minor stuff for merch, and then we should be good to go. I mean, then we'll have all the branding and ready to advertise it, promote it. We already got quite a bit of sales, I think, right, Jason? Some
We do.
excitement. So
Got quite a few commitments from a pretty incredible lineup of speakers again next year. We had a lot of our feedback forms from this year. We asked, who do you want to hear, at future conferences? And saw a lot of names on there. And, well, just so happens we got a lot of those names coming next year. So that should make people happy.
Can we announce any of them here or not yet?
Not yet. Just give me a minute. Not yet.
no,
Well,
you want to sell more?
we have
tickets?
already announced Denise Finzi, so she's going to be opening keynote, I think. But we've got some others that are definitely lined up, committed, and we're pretty excited about that. Marlene's been working pretty hard on it.
Should be a good lineup. The ones I've heard are pretty awesome.
Yep, for sure.
Awesome. Anything else you think we should be covering in this episode?
So Fabian, since you're the California expert, I'm not. I hear that this place we're going to is like 70 degrees year round. Is that right? And like never rains?
Quite possibly, yes. Quite possibly.
Okay.
I mean, the microclimates in California are kind of crazy. I was talking to Jackie yesterday about some education stuff, and she is, I think, in Orange County. And she was like, it's 95 degrees outside. Real feel is 105. And I was like, oh my God. I mean, it's like 55 degrees outside. I'm wearing a
hoodie.
Yeah, crew neck. And then it's cold. And so our summer is kind of gone now. But yes, it's supposed to be like 75 degrees year round, beautiful, typical, coastal California, a little cool in the morning. Once you get into mid-afternoon, it's nice and warm. And so hopefully there's some surfing involved. I like surfing. So maybe there's some activities. And, just knowing the ICP crowd. They love to go out to the beach, have drinks, have fun, do activities, you know, so there's going to be plenty of that. I'm excited for it.
Should be awesome.
Yep.
What's going on right now? Is there a torrential downpour at your place, Fabian? Or is that
No.
different noise?
No, it's a different noise.
Whoa.
I mean, there's literally nothing going on here. Jason, is it you?
Hey, I mean, this might be the gremlins telling us to just wrap up.
Yeah.
It very well may be.
All right. I think we covered it. Anything else from you guys?
Stay tuned to our social media for conference updates. And don't, as we've said, not to be a broken record, leave us comments, shoot us a message, let us know who you want to hear, what you want to hear. We'll try to do our best to make it happen here on the podcast, because this is your podcast. It's not ours, it's yours. So let us know what you want.
Awesome. Thanks for listening, everybody.
Yep. See you guys later.
Welcome to Dog Pro Radio. Yo, listen. Dog Pro Radio, yo, act to watch. It's Dog Pro Radio, brings back the buses. Dog Pro Radio, and mates a lion. Dog Radio brings back tonight. Dog Pro Radio, yo, act to watch. It's Dog Pro Radio, brings back the buses. Dog Pro Radio, and mates.